Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tony Speaks Morning Show. I'm Tony T. We're going to give you guys, and with the Cappers here joining me, give picks from the NFL as well as the Major League Baseball playoffs, W's in action as well. Maybe more. We'll see what we got from our Cappers. Ready for a big Sunday of action. We'll say hello to Rod. Rod, what's going on?
No, not too much. Definitely a weird UFC event yesterday. Definitely, I don't know. Some people are not going to be too happy with the refs in that one for sure. After watching what I watched, so it is what it is. As they tell you in the UFC, don't leave it to the refs. Knock the guy out, and then you don't have to worry about somebody saying whether your fight was a winner or not. So it is what it is. College football, hey. I don't know. I guess Washington got the win. They definitely had the zebras in their pocket in that one. Michigan driving down the field. It was 17-17. Michigan driving down the field, and that guy was blatantly tackled in the middle. And they were like, "Oh, what? We didn't see anything." And then the zebras started throwing them on Michigan. It was like, oh, turn that off. There's a game coming. it was just one of those days. I had a good start, had a bad finish. Went 8-8. Paid a wow. Right? And it's like, what?
Wow. Well, some of those, there was some of those big dogs in college football. Some of those big dogs came in. Yeah, they did come in.
That's amazing, man. I mean, that you stay break even and you come out ahead, man. That's a lot of exposure.
Yeah, it's either most of those times when I put in that many, it's either you break even or you're ahead big. So nice. It's just college football is the only one I can do that at. I do that anywhere else, and it's not a good day sometimes.
No way.
No way NBA. NBA.
Yeah, no NBA. No NBA.
So for some reason, hoops I can do it.
Oh, yeah, college basketball.
Yeah, I got college basketball all day.
You're laser focused on it. If you're laser focused on college basketball, then it's possible. Jorge, what's happening? Another good day,
man. I didn't have. I put out 3 total plays, I think, yesterday, but my college ended up 5-1 for the week. Judicially putting them out there. It's tough, man. The schedule is kind of crazy. I've always phased out the schedule, blowouts and then conference rivalries. But when I'm picking up, man, I'm starting to look around. Schools that don't have any money, any NIL money at all, or any exposure, even if they're a decent level school, they're horrible. Southern Miss. They're still blowout. I went back to I call it bully betting. You just look for the worst teams. I go on my stats and I find the worst teams against betting and the worst yardage, and they have no offensive line and they're not blind. I look for misery. I look for absolute misery on there, and then you go bet against them. And I did it with Navy. Right. I mean, it was Navy against the Air Force. And, a little tidbit there, again, a great situational betting on that one. They are very against using any players over 4 years. There's no red shirt, no nothing. So Air Force broke the code, bad pun, broke the code and went and they call it a throwback. When COVID hit, they went back. They actually got in trouble for recruiting during COVID. And they gave their players a 5th year when Army and Navy did not. Oh. So the reason I'm seeing this is a freebie when Army goes to play Air Force. They're pissed off. It's the revenge factor. They are going to run it up. It's not going to be your typical low-scoring game. And with Army and Navy so good now because they didn't use that 5th year super senior thing, and Air Force did. Air Force has got nothing because they relied on all those players and they all left at once. So, again, another one of those situational things that just keep looking for some information that's an intangible. But when Army plays Air Force, it's going to be about the same.
Yep. We see the Army strong team. Navy again getting it done with a big win, even double digits. They got them. They're mending. What's happening? How you feeling? I know the Huskers got the win, but didn't get the cover, but didn't get the loss either. They pushed.
No, they got the cover, Tony. They did. Well, I mean, it depends on what number you got, right?
7 or 6.5, right?
Yeah. So game time, it was 6.5, so you would have got it. Okay. A couple days ago early, it was at 7, would have got that push. But yeah, it was not the best outing for the Huskers, that's for sure. So I was at Memorial Stadium yesterday. It was fun. My eyes are like swollen shut because of the wind and harvesting. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty fine. But yeah, it was a good time. And again, I know everyone saw it on ESPN, but yeah, I mean, it was one of those like the worst plays yesterday, top 5. The Rutgers guy, Husker defender fell down, and going to catch the ball, hit him right in the face mask. Other than that, I mean, it might have been Rutgers getting the victory there in that one. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it was a good time for Nick Saban to get out of football with NIL. Parity is, I don't think you're ever going to have those dynasty teams anymore when everything is the pay for play. So, I mean, that's why we see the upsets. That's why, I mean, you can pay for players now. And I mean, I think it makes it exciting. Like, I love it. I loved all the upsets yesterday. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry though. If you lose one, you can still be top 12.
Yeah, yes. You can still have the money and still lose like USC. I mean, that's the embarrassment of all. Just so embarrassing. You still got to play. You still got to coach them. I mean, I mean, I'm not going to say they're out of the playoff, but maybe you got your 2 losses out of the way. Maybe you can go on a run and somehow squeeze your way. I know they're trying to weasel the Big 12.
I say they're done.
I know the Big 10. I know the Big 10 and the SEC are trying to weasel their way in to get more. They want to get more berths into the playoff. That means if it goes to 16, it goes to 16. But I know they're trying to get more in. I was reading that this week. But boy, oh boy, 2 losses for USC, pretty much out of it. They were both on the road and they were both single digits. But still, that's another embarrassment for the men of Troy losing a game like that to just a disgusting. Well, I don't want to say that bad, but Minnesota's been pretty down for a while.
Maybe it was too cold there. Maybe it was
might have been too cold. You know, that these are the fall weather. They expected fall, they got winter. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. All right, Vikings on the boards there. It looks like. All right, let's get to the NFL today. We'll wait for this. We have 13 games on the card. We'll cover 12 because one game's up. Minnesota with that field goal up 3-0. A 2.5-point favorite to close. Total 42. So the Vikes on the board to get us started here in that London game in progress. So these are the games we'll cover here on this as we begin the show. Panthers, Bears, Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Texans. If you guys have an in-game on the Vikes, you can throw it in here as well. We'll start with Rod.
And looking at the Bears taking on Carolina. For me, this Bears team, they're looking all right, but giving up, having to lay 4 with the Bears, not where I want to be putting my money. I'm going with Carolina plus the 4 there in that one. As you look for some reason, I just don't think the Bears are going to have success with Swift running the ball against this Carolina team. They're going to make him use his arm, and I don't know if that QB's got enough arm to huck it down the field against this Carolina team. I think they stuff up the run and make Chicago one-dimensional, and I'm not a huge fan of Carolina's QB, but Andy Dalton's better than what they had there before. He's been actually getting some points for Carolina and putting them on the board, moving the team down the field. So give me Carolina plus the 4 in that one. And that's really the only one I really like in that times out of those couple in that time slot. Not a big, huge fan of those first ones you named.
All right.
One game?
One game for me, yeah. One game.
It's a tough card in the NFL.
Talking about one injury. You only have one game.
I know, right? It's NFL. It's tough.
And you're just talking about one game. I'm going to do Allen Iverson on you.
It's one game. It's one game. Well, the other one's this one.
You're talking about one game.
The other one's the Dolphins. So
a lot of injuries.
You know what I am?
Oh man, don't steal my thunder.
It's just a wounded cart ready to happen. Like,
oh, dude,
take the under. I think it could be 6-3 in that game. But the problem is, I
can't argue with that one, Rod. But on the under.
On the under, take the under in that one. How's that? There you go. There's 2 plays. Take the under, New England and the Dolphins, because
for sure.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, that's not till the next slot. That's not on this slot. We're going to Jorge.
Oh, that's
right. You can have one play, Rod. It's okay. It's normal. It's normal, buddy. Relax. It's okay. You can have one play. No, you're the best. I only got one play into this one, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be on the opposite side of this, and Tony already knows why I'm on the opposite side of this, because they got a 63 or 65 rating on their defensive health, 62.7. And it's the biggest advantage. And Chicago is pretty much healthy. I mean, super healthy. I mean, they have a injury 6 score of 92.7. Regardless of all that, I think Carolina's had too many pieces missing as far as their health has been all year long. Chicago, I think the running is going to get better than it's been. I thought it'd be better to start the year, and the quarterback's only going to get better. Really, it's a matter of health. It's still the Panthers. They've been traveling a bit. They were in Las Vegas, they're back. Now they're going up to Chicago. Weather's going to be crappy. So it's actually, yes, you're right. Chicago's not ran the ball well. But with all the injuries that they have at Carolina, it's going to be pretty nasty. Wind's going to be swirling a little bit. Throwing bombs and kicking long field goals is not going to be the winning recipe in this game. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a healthier team and take the Bears in the spot.
All right, move on over to Mindy.
So I missed what was the other games besides the Bears?
Panthers, Bears, Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Texans.
All right. So yeah, I'm with Jorge. I like what the Bears are doing right now. Their team that's been, kind of covering here, or at least winning some of their home games. But offensive efficiency wise, the Bears are still better than this Carolina Panthers team. And that's even though I think Andy Dalton is the better quarterback here. A lot of it does come down to, I just think with, getting things done on third down, being more efficient, I think that's really going to help him here. So I got him winning like 25-17, enough to cover. That's for sure. And then for the next one was
Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Texans.
There it is. I like the over in that Ravens Bengals game. It's one of those, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough cover either way. But these games do go over the total quite a bit. The way Henry's been playing, I think they're going to stick it with him. He's hard to stop, that's for sure. And then I'm on Minnesota early on. I like Jordan Addison over the 37.5 yards as well. So those will be my plays here early on.
There from Mindy. All right. Just before I go, I want to give you some of the weather situations. A couple of spots here. Indy at Jacksonville. Rain in the forecast. Could rain all day in that game. 66% chance of rain. Wind does 7 miles per hour, 80 degrees. I would look over, but that is no play for me because it's going to rain all game. The numbers to me, but we'll get to that game in a little bit. Dallas and Pittsburgh, 69% chance of rain, 11 mile per hour wind. So swirling wind there and rain forecasted there in those two games. So those are the two weather games for today. And I'll tell you what I think. I'm there with Jorge too. Exactly right on the chow numbers. A huge advantage for the Chicago offense against the Carolina defense. About a plus 25 rating, a variance there in the injury ratings for the Bears. That's a huge advantage. Remember, the Bears were a 3-point favorite against the Rams, and they're 4 here against the Panthers. They can get the job done here. That's really what it comes down to. It's just pretty much the injured, health against the injured here. That's really what the angle in this one here. And you got a really good Bears defense that's playing well. So that's the spot I'll be on there here with Chicago Bills and the Texans. I like that one going over the total. Here's another spot where you have two healthy offenses going against banged up defenses. And we saw that work last week. I think that's something to look at when you look at the chow numbers, is if you can find two healthy offensive units against two banged up defenses, that's a pick. That's a over situation. Oh, and the opposite way, if you see two banged up offenses going against healthy defenses, you may consider under. But for me here, it's the over because we have the healthy offenses against the injured defenses, and we got some two teams that have pretty good offensive, right? Houston with the quarterback Stroud, Buffalo can move the football with a good quarterback. I'll look at that spot there. Ravens injury advantage here against the Bengals. The Bengals defense banged up. You got a healthy Ravens offense. I'll take the Ravens here laying the points. Ravens 10-4 the spread against the AFC. Cincinnati 2-5 the spread at home against the division. The Bengals pass defense a concern here for me, so I'll look at Baltimore in that spot. All right, let's continue here on the Tony Six Morning Show as we get ready for the next series of games here, and they will be Colts and Jags, Dolphins, Patriots, Browns, and Commanders. We start with Rod.
All right, looking at this team now. Miami taking on New England. You look at this one, and this is going to be an ugly game. 36.5. I'm going to take the under. We've seen Miami the last couple of weeks, and that offense has just been brutal. Needless to say, injury-wise, both teams dealing with a whole pile of injuries. New England maybe a little more injuries than what Miami is dealing with. That offensive line's beat up. They're dealing with guys on defense. It's not pretty. And New England's definitely not been racking up the points. This could be 6-3 final in this one. So. Give me the under 36.5 there in that one. And then the Jags still looking for their first win and land 3.5 here. Flacco getting the start most likely for the Colts in this one today. And he usually comes in. He's Mr. Reliable, but that number, he's getting up there. He's not Mr. Young Guy anymore, is Mr. Flacco. And I think this is a spot. I think this is just a spot that I think he might have bit off more than he could have chewed. I think just stay at the sidelines and done. And after what he did last year, I'm going to take the Jags to finally break through and get themselves their first win of the season over the hapless Colts. I think the Colts, their run defense, give it to them the last couple of weeks, has been not bad. They've actually slowed up the run a little. But before that, they were getting gashed for like 200 yards. I think the Jags, NTN can have a big game. So give me Travis NTN to get an anytime touchdown. And I think he goes over his rushing yards today. And the Jags lean on him a little more than using Lawrence's arm. So give me the Jags there in that one. And then Washington, everybody's the Browns. The Browns are on my do not bet list. They're absolutely awful. They're like win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They've just been looking absolutely awful. And then Washington, you look at Washington, that offense just keeps getting better and better and better each week. They just keep scoring more points and more points and more points and more points. So now at home here in this one, give me Washington. I have no trust or no faith in this Browns team. This Browns team, you look what they do. They don't throw the ball very well. 4.2 yards an attempt? Woo! You're going to rely heavily on the run? Yeah, good luck. Washington's going to I know Washington's defense isn't the greatest, but they don't care if they get in a shootout with the Browns. Washington will score the Browns, no problem at all in that one. Give me the Commanders in that one.
Why not Commanders? We move on over to Jorge.
Washington looks great, and it's the great Phil's good story. Defense is absolutely horrible.
Horrible! I didn't say they were good. They're awful.
Yeah,
I'm not picking on you, bro. Relax. I'm just trying to do an analysis on the game. Not picking on you, Rod.
Okay.
But I am going to pick on the rookie quarterback just because he's a rookie. Look, they face some of the worst defenses in the league. He's phenomenal. Not going to take anything away from him. But now you're going up against the defensive front of Cleveland. And, it's one of those things like you don't want to start a rookie quarterback against the Steelers. Cleveland's defensive line, they're going to baptize him. You know what I mean? They're rotating left tackles. So I just think that's one of those games. Look, Washington's well improved. Are we going to label them the best offense in the NFL? Are we going to put them in the playoffs? No, absolutely not. And yes, Cleveland's up and down. This whole NFL year, teams are up and down. It's really been one of the tougher ones coming out of the gate. Rod, I think you described all the teams.
Buffalo's come out like a shot out of a cannon. The Vikings look like they're shot out of a cannon, and they're still rolling along. So
that's
this
two
is a
out
new
of
team.
Darnold got hit and he's down and he's pointing to his ribs. So there's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, see,
Tape him up, wrap him up.
Darnold's still down. So major situation here with the Vikings and Jets. Darnold took a shot to the ribs and down, not getting up. They're going to commercial.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Who's the Vikings backup?
I don't know.
Oh,
Who is the Vikings?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
from BYU.
Yeah, from BYU. Yeah.
He's okay, but he's another one that's fragile. He was a good kid at BYU and didn't do a bunch of juice. He still weighs like 200 pounds. So they just blow on him, and he's got an injury. He's got to go out. It's just the danger.
Okay.
But I'm dangerously going to go back and try to do some of these totals in the weather. Chicago's another one, swirly, a lot of wind in Chicago, swirling weather, and it was a factor yesterday in a couple of the games over there in Chicago. Back on that one. New England's really bad, man. I don't even know how they stay competitive. You look at their numbers outside of the good. I think they just beat up a depleted Bengals team to start the year. Both chemistry wise and health. I think Huntley is McDaniels is good at putting an offense together and getting people to play. For the Dolphins, so on the money line, I would take New England. Miami versus New England in that spot. Not a lot of scoring there in that particular spot. So Jacksonville, that's another game. A lot of injuries along the offensive line. I always want to say that Prescott's the worst money in the NFL. Well, that's a competition between Lawrence and Prescott right now. Who blew the most money? How much money does it cost per win? For these big contracts that they put out, they put those out. And, do they fire the general manager? Do you fire the owner? In Dallas, if you got rid of Jerry Jones, they probably start winning.
Start winning, right?
Well, the son is pretty much running the show. I think Jerry's slowing down a little bit. I think the son might be the one
Whatever it is, they need to stop what they were doing because they haven't won anything since Barry Switzer told them to go F off and stay out of coaching. And it's true. I mean, ever since then, Jerry Jones wants to be the general manager / tell the coach what to do, and they've never won. So anyway, I like the totals on that one. I definitely under in Jacksonville, even the under in Miami game. I don't see that one so having a lot of points either.
All right, Darnold's off on the sidelines with the helmet back on, just with the helmet back on. Didn't go to the locker room. So Nick Mullins is in right now, undrafted quarterback out of Southern Miss. We'll see how long he goes. But right now, good sign that he did not leave the field and put the helmet back on when he was on the side. May have the wind knocked out of him. That's a possibility. We move on over to Mindy.
Yeah, I agree here again, Jorge. Going under in that Jags game for sure. Defensive efficiency for the Colts has been pretty decent. They're about 11 percentage points better than this Jacksonville team right now. So let's go ahead and go under in that one. Same thing, Miami, New England. You got the number 27 versus the number 28 quarterback. So we're going under in that one as well. I didn't realize Brissett was so bad until you really take a look at the numbers.
Right?
He's always been a guy that I kind of always rooted for, you know?
And it came like this as it was going. So it was lucky it was caught.
Someone caught it.
Right. And yeah, it's the same thing. Like I always worry about Washington if I'm, thinking I'm putting them too high, putting them on a little bit of a pedestal because of what they've been doing. But historically, the Commanders have not played well against the Browns. But I think you do have to throw that out the window. I'm going to go ahead and go on Washington. I have them winning by 5, like 26-21.
All right, from Mindy. All right, I'm going to look here at the Dolphins in this spot. Slight injury advantage for the Miami offense against the Patriots defense. Also, Patriots really banged up on the offensive line. Out of all these units, the pass defense very weak for New England, allowing 71% completions, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. So I'll look here at the Dolphins in that spot. Also, looking here at these games, Colts, Jaguars. Again, we talked about it's going to be a very, very heavy rain there. So that's, again, for those underplays up there, I would definitely like that one. Although if it was good weather, I would lean over, but not with this forecast. I mean, this is going to be a game where you're just going to see a lot of water come down. That's what the forecast calls for. What is the next one we had here? We had Cleveland Commanders and Browns. I like the over. A bad defense can really help a bad offense. And I think situation here where the Browns can actually probably get some points on the board here. And we know how this Washington team is playing. Good offensive numbers here. Washington does have an injury advantage, but still, the Commanders, the offense is on defense, but the defense is playing horribly. So I don't know if that's an advantage or not. There because the Browns do have issues with their tackles, but they've been upgraded to questionable. So we'll see if their tackles can play. Remember, last couple of weeks they were missing their left and right tackle, and they were having issues throughout the game. But the Cleveland 6-2 to the over against bad pass defensive teams like the Commanders here. So I'll look for an over in this one. It's a kind of low 43.5 for a Commanders game. All right, let's continue here on the drive-through. Mullins fumbles the football. The Jets should have ran it for a touchdown. The guy slipped. So the Jets now deep in Minnesota territory. Mullins with a boneheaded play.
I don't know why they got him in there. That dude's horrible.
Horrible.
I remember last year Hall was looking good. Of course, then he got injured and he didn't have a sub, but he was like looking at least decent. And his dad's from Vegas, actually.
Actually, it wasn't Mullins. No, Darnold's back in. Sorry, my mistake. It was Darnold. Darnold came back in after one play, and it was a botched pitch. It was a botched pitch. That's what it was.
Might be hurt. That's what it was. Might be trying to play hurt.
Yeah, maybe so. With that, it would look like it was the ribs, but of course that will get worse as the day progresses.
Day goes on.
The rib injuries, they will get worse. We'll see how after the game. That's one of those
after the game. Steroids, he'll be fine. He'll get through it.
Get the painkillers in there.
There's nothing worse than
that. Mindy will give you her softball story. She played her senior year with what did you had? Was it a
broken thumb on my left hand? So my glove hand. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it was, it was not fun. I had a person dedicated to me I just put my hand in and they wrapped it around. And so basically the balls would come and just, hit on the ground and pick them up and throw them. And then every time I hit, like if I would hit, I was fine. But if I foul tipped it, I swear I broke my thumb every single time. So it stayed broken for a good year.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
For Minnie there. So she can speak from experience. You can
So
pay
I
her.
don't have any pity for these folks that are hurt. Otherwise, just stay out.
There you go. All right, we'll continue.
Gotta be like hockey guys, and you get
I'm even
get it
I'm
back
dumber
in
than
there.
that. I played catcher with the ligament hurt my thumb.
Yeah.
And there's
Same
nothing,
thing, right?
nothing you can wrap up. There's nothing you can do. I just had to sit back there and
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is if you would just wobble it just a little bit.
Big bit, but still, man, when our best pitcher would come in to pitch, I was almost like crying back there before he threw it.
Right.
All right, we'll continue on. We move to the late afternoon games here with the Raiders, Broncos, Cardinals, 49ers, Packers, Rams. We start with Rod.
And starting with this Raiders taking on the Broncos here, and you look in this one, and you know what? This Raiders offense definitely nothing to write home about. Definitely not been good. And going against this Broncos defense, that's been actually pretty good. It's been the bright spot for Denver. And you know what? I think Bo's getting a little more comfortable in the backfield as well. So for me in this one, I think the Denver offense has some success here running the ball against really bad Raiders defense. Ooh, what are they, 30th? Giving up 5.1 yards per rush. Yeah, I think this Broncos offense here can run the ball nicely. You don't have to throw it too far down the field against this Raiders D, but I think they'll be able to control the clock. And Denver just shuts them down. Give me the Broncos there in that one. I'm not a fan of the Raiders on the road. And the end, I believe it's an 8-game winning streak for the Raiders against the Broncos as well. So that streak comes to an end here. The Broncos get the win in that one. The other one in this time slot that I like, you went to Giants Seattle?
No, that's the next one. We got the Raiders, Broncos, Cardinals, 49ers, Packers, Rams.
Packers taking on the Rams. You look at this one here, and I'm going to go with Green Bay here on the road against the Rams. I think for me, Love, there should be a second game back here for Love, and I think he'll have plenty of success through the air against a bad Rams secondary. You look, I believe they're almost dead last in the league. I think they might be dead last in the league at yards per attempt at 8.6. And this Green Bay offense is at 7.7 yards per attempt already. Love's going to have a field day. They'll be able to rush the ball as well against a bad Rams defense that giving up 5 yards per rush. Ooh, could be a long day for the Rams in that one. Give me Green Bay.
They're from Rod. Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six. So now it's 10-0 Minnesota. So
I was just going to say, let's throw a third team in there for the worst spent money.
And that was all on Rodgers. Didn't see the linebacker. Just threw it right at him. That was all on Rodgers. You can't blame. No one to blame. He had no one to blame. So he usually likes to blame somebody, but he had no one.
Yes, he does.
He
somebody.
It was in disbelief. Where did this guy come from? Where was it? There must have been some sort of 12. Maybe there was 12 men on the field. Look at the ref. I don't know. We move on over to next up is Jorge.
Man, those Jets are just jinxed, aren't they? No matter what kind of move, they're like jinxed forever at that quarterback position. I don't know if the owner back in the day sold their soul with Joe Namath or what, but it just seems like it. Literally,
way back.
They've got nothing. It doesn't matter who they put back there. But let's see, jumping over to these, trying to figure out what games we are at.
Raiders, Broncos, Cardinals, 49ers, Packers, Rams.
Cardinals, 49ers. Okay, I'll go with the Raider Broncos fan because I don't like the Raiders on any level. Other than UNLV has a nice stadium to play in, but and it's just ridiculous. Jacobs is gone, playing well in Green Bay. Now you want to get rid of Adams? Well, what are they trying to accomplish? I mean, do they want to play UNLV in a scrimmage and lose? I mean, they got nothing on their damn team. I mean, it's just absolutely horrible. Agree with pretty much everything that Rod said. Denver's defense, and it was good. Remember last year they had the game where Miami blew them out? And from that point on, they had one of the better defenses in the league. Again, they're sneaking up on everybody. They were horrible at the start of the year, but a little better than last year. But gradually improving. And, and Bo Nix, I think his age, staying in college all the extra years has done nothing but help him out in the spot. where he's getting used to the speed. He's making good decisions. He's patient. And look, Adams is very popular, not just in the community here, in the locker room. I mean, it doesn't matter what they do, double team him, whatever. I mean, the team, he's like a quarterback. He's got the leadership of a quarterback, but at the wide receiver position, that's got to be a fractured locker room. You know, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to be there anymore. Thing about Pierce, you know, when you have certain type of coaches, who was the coach over at the Giants that was they finally had to get rid of him after Parcells? Coughlin. They're really good. You know, every team meeting, you know, if it was an 8:00 meeting, you were late if you weren't there at 7:55.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And fined for being late. Like, what time does it start? You can only be so tough with your team. You know, and I think Pierce has that kind of mentality. That don't work in the pros. It really doesn't. We see all these tough coaches not last very long. Saban, you know, once they get to the NFL, I think that we can't babysit these prima donnas. I can't coach them. They want to be babysat. So I think that's where the Raiders are right now. I think they're going to have a dismal season. I think they could be looking for the #1 draft pick next year, the way they're gutting their team. So take Denver less than a field goal home.
Yeah, we go with Jorge, and we go on over to Mindy.
Well, damn. I mean, I want to give the Raiders team a shot here today in this one. You know, right now they got the differential on offense, right? So they're plus 13 against this team, the Broncos. Historically, they've kind of had their number. I want to see what Max Crosby, what kind of impact he has on this game. So to me, I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders to go ahead and get this one. I think defensively, it's probably that the Broncos do have the edge, but I think the offense overcomes this one. Minshew's still ultimately a better quarterback numbers-wise than Bo Nix, even though I think Bo Nix has had a pretty decent outing this season. But I'll be on the Raiders. And then I'm going with the over in this Green Bay Rams game. Have this one 50-plus points. Again, it's Jordan Love does have the edge when it comes to, you know, quarterback ranking in this one. I look a lot at that, just where everyone's at. Stafford's sitting at about 24, and because he's missing all of his receivers. But I think they do play well enough to kind of, you know, do enough to get it down the field. I think they're going to put up about 3 scores in this one. And then lastly, it's an Arizona game versus the 49ers, right? I'm going to go ahead and go over the total in this one, too. I think it's going to be hard to pick a spread winner, at least for me in this game. It's like there's just way too many unknowns in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the total, even though I think 49ers probably have a little bit of the edge here.
All right, there. From Mindy, another pick here for Aaron Rodgers. Oh my goodness! And you guys, oh my goodness, 2 picks already in the first quarter for Aaron. If you had the over 1.5, you cashed your prop play on over 2 1.5 interception for old Aaron Rodgers. All right, I heard Mindy say something about 3 scores. I think that's what we get here in Raiders in Denver under in that game. Pretty much Broncos. They do have a significant injury advantage here. And, of course, players unavailable for the Raiders. Wide advantage on both units. And I just think here with Bo Nix, it's just ball control is going to be the key for a Broncos victory here. Just hold on to the football, keep the Raiders off the field, use the run to win the game. And I think that's what the here issue with the Raiders is they can't stop the run. And you got a running style quarterback. You don't really want to run between the tackles because you're not at Auburn anymore. In fact, you go to a Pac-12 school, you get in the NFL. So that's
quarterbacks don't want to run, period, in the NFL.
Well, these young kids, I know.
You really don't. There's we have a freakish amount of running quarterbacks in the NFL right now this year. That's not going to last long. Because even Lamar, look at all the weight Lamar's dropped. That's been a huge plus for him. And he needed a half a step. You know, and it's helped. That half a step it's not that he's running these long down. He's sprinting out. He's not getting hit. When he rolls out, you know, when he runs, he's getting his rear end out of bounds. Yeah. You know, those were some of the things that you can't run in the NFL. These quarterbacks, man, you're not going to stay healthy. Quarterbacks can do that. You're going to get hit. Even the running quarterbacks get hurt and knocked out if they keep trying to run. You know, Lamar and Allen are just freaks in nature.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just noticed there with Allen is that they resort to running in the playoffs and in desperate situations where they lost 2 in a row where they really need a win. That's when you see them start running. They don't run anymore. Just in desperate situations is when they do it. I'm going to take the set. I'm going to take the points here with the Arizona Cardinals. You got a healthy Kyler Murray. Here's another guy who's mobile, but he runs smart though. He runs out of bounds. That's who I like because he's learned his lesson. There's one thing with Murray when he's healthy, he's effective.
Oh, he's awesome.
Hits, you know.
He's what happened to it against a bad Washington defense?
Whatever you do,
21.
Yeah,
that's the scary part with Arizona. How do you only score 21 against Washington last week?
Yeah,
that's the scary part. I had to pass that game because it was just like.
Sorry, not to pick on the injured, not to pick on your Dolphins, but the dumbest run I've ever seen from a quarterback, concussion or not. He's a small guy, and he doesn't slide with his feet. He goes in head effing first. I was like, are you know? He was like, I mean, what? He's nothing else to hit, you big dummy. It's like the only thing they can hit is your helmet. The refs can't even throw a flag because that's what you put out there.
Yeah, because you put yourself in that situation. Yeah, he put himself
ending, there. Right? Yeah, but a lot of what you said, Tony, about Murray. Murray's awesome, man.
Yeah, Murray. Well, he learned his lesson. Right? Well, Murray wasn't his pen because he was getting hurt in the pocket too. So, but he took a bad rap because he played hurt and he wasn't effective with his knee. He came back early, and I think that kind of hurt him. But when he's healthy, I think he's an effective quarterback. You can have those bad games. Washington super team. But the issue here with the 49ers, there's a huge injury advantage here for Arizona based on the challenge numbers. The Arizona offense going against a banged-up 49ers defense, there's a plus 18 variance in the advantage of the Arizona offense here. So that's something I really like there. And they are moving the football. So an injury issue. Also a weather issue in San Francisco. And I think it might help the road team. We're looking at record temperatures in San Francisco, so much to the point where the 49ers coach says, hey, can we please play in our white uniforms? And Elizabeth said, no, you cannot. You got to play in your red uniform.
No.
So you're already showing weakness. You want to play in your red uniforms? No, you have to make that decision. Those decisions are made before the season. If you want to be wearing white in that game, well, you had to come and tell us before the season. You can't come in here because it's hot. We could be looking at triple. This is the Bay Area. You're not used to triple-digit type temperatures. So we're looking at record high for that mild climate Bay Area. That might even help Arizona. Against good offensive teams, the 49ers 4-5 the spread at home. These are teams that average 5.65 yards per play or greater. I'll take the points there with Arizona. Boy, Packers, Rams. Boy, this is another one. A significant injury advantage here for Green Bay. My model took Rams. Except it doesn't work when these injury situations. I don't know if some of your modeling. I don't really look at these injury situations here. Green Bay's running the football effectively. LA's struggling on the ground. They've got those injuries. Huge advantage for Packers. So look at the Packers in this one. Remember, the Rams just gave them 24 points to a really bad Bears offense. So the Bears offense is going to look good again today because they're playing an injury defense. But that was just a bad sign for me. Especially now with Minnesota winning, the Packers got to keep it going here to try to make some noise here in the division or even in a playoff spot. But again, I'll look at the Packers in that spot. All right, let's continue here on the Tony Sick Morning Show as we're ready to close out the NFL with a couple tonight. We've got the Giants at the Seahawks, Cowboys and the Steelers. The old school Super Bowls back to the 70s, back in the days. We'll get started here with Rod.
Yeah, you look at this Giants and taking on Seattle, and I see it's a 7 for a reason. This Giants team is just not good. Definitely been they struggle in many facets of the game, and but Seattle as a favorite especially as a touchdown favorite. They haven't fared so well. I believe they're 1-7 as a favorite in their last 8. So Atlanta touchdown with Seattle. How many times have I seen backdoor cover? Seattle gets the win. They win by 4. I'm going to hold my nose and I'm going to take the Giants plus the 7 there. You give me a touchdown. I just don't trust Seattle and not Geno. Geno throws you that in. He could be the guy throwing the pick 6, and the Giants all of a sudden run it back the other way and get the cover or upset Seattle. I've seen that too. So was it last year that the Giants went into Seattle and beat them? So give me the Giants there plus the 7. Got to go with that one there. And then I just don't trust Dallas on the road in the Sunday nighter. No chance I can trust Dallas on the road. I think Dak's going to be running for his life. TJ Watt's going to be chasing him down. That Pittsburgh front defensive line is going to make it tough on Dak Prescott. They're definitely not going to be able to run the ball, that's for sure. And Dallas hasn't been able to run the ball for a while. So they're going to try to throw it, and Dak is not the man. I wouldn't have given him the extension. Yikes. I don't know what Jerry Jones was thinking there, but I think you need a new QB. Maybe you should start tanking. There's plenty in the college ranks. Give me the Steelers there in that one tonight. It's not even going to be pretty.
A lot of rain forecasting.
It'll be close. A lot of rain. Oh, perfect for Pittsburgh. They like the rain. I think they'll have no problem running the ball and doing enough to get the win. Give the Steelers on that one.
Steelers from Rob. We move on over to Jorge.
Yeah, the Cowboys aren't going to like that. It's going to be mud. It's going to be a little bit dirty. They're going to get the pretty uniforms all dirty. They're not going to they go and play against the Steelers. And, it's just the age group, right? About and of course, Mindy's much younger than the rest of us. But in our age group,
maybe
from the 80s,
if I take this off, there's a lot of gray under there.
It was Steelers and Cowboys. There was never an era where there was one team or the other, even if you had your home team. Like the country was divided. You're a Steelers fan or you're a Cowboy fan, even if you had your home team. We haven't seen that too much lately, and I think it'll just be fun for the older fans, really, to watch this. But Steelers win ugly. It's even though it's my team and I hate Tomlin. He does do well in primetime games when they play in these specific spots. Cowboys defense, man, talk about a unit talk about missing your defensive coordinator, huh? I guess Quinn was worth his money in gold. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of that, man. I watch that like a hawk when I'm handicapping some of these games. It's like, you never know, man. You just what's the chemistry that guy's going to have?
Zimmer was away too long, in my thought. He might have been away too long before coming back, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Dallas, I think they're still in disarray. One thing we missed last guy, why the Steelers lost to Indiana, we talk about their defensive line, and of course Taylor's out. The Colts have the best offensive line in the NFL. When they put their ratings out on them for run blocking and protection, and
they had to because of what happened to Luck. They had to, right? Luck when he quit, that gave them the message, so they focused a lot there.
However, whatever the catalyst was, that was it. And smart move by that guy. I've always been a fan of that move. Screw it. What's it worth, my health or trying to stick around for a Super Bowl? So kudos to him. But back to that Steelers game, it's going to be sloppy there. That's an under. That's definitely an underweight to happen. I just can't see trying to air out the ball. And even though it's a little windy, it swirls there at Pittsburgh. So field goals are crappy. There's one end of the field that even if there's just a little bit wind, it's kind of tough to kick into it. And the Steelers know that. I think they give the opponent that direction towards the end of the game. The Steelers always prefer to have a certain end. Giants have a couple of extra days off. It's too bad Neighbors is out with concussion. He's a great rookie. He's been very impressive. And Jones is a good quarterback. He's another one. You don't run. You're gonna learn to throw that ball away or not. Again, he doesn't have great numbers, but he's athletic, man. He's super athletic. He can run. He can throw. He can do all the things, and I think he's come back a little bit more mature. And the Giants have a couple extra days off, so that jet lag is not going to take care of them. Back to the same the sick reports that Tony and IU. That's a great acronym they made, by the way, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it is.
The SIC, the sick report. Seattle's really banged up.
Yeah,
they're another one that's a mash unit, and I might have just all mash picks this week, man. I'm just going up against the beat up, and we're back to bully betting. I think I'm gonna do it. Take my bully betting from Saturday and apply it to Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, move on over to Mindy.
I love that, the bully betting.
Yeah.
I got Gino. He's 10th. Daniel Jones 23rd when it comes to QB ranking. But I see this how Rod does. I got Seattle winning this one by like 5. That's definitely not a cover. I'm going to go ahead and beat on the Giants here in this one. And that's kind of the way it is. I don't really know what Seattle's identity is, especially after losing that bad, to the Lions. I still haven't quite figured it out. They used to have been known, to be known for their defense, and now I'm not quite so sure. Well, then sometimes I'm on offense. Maybe they're trying to be more of a running team, but then we have a running back that's injured a lot. So we have to do something here with Seattle to have an identity again. And once they do, I think they can get back on track, especially in their division. I think they can always compete, but they're probably still always fighting for 3rd and 4th. That's, just kind of the way it's going to be. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take the Steelers on the money line. I have this one close. I got a 23-22 ball game. And again, Boswell always has the advantage there kicking in Pittsburgh. It's when you net out offensive and defensive efficiencies, it's literally like 63-66. I mean, I don't think you can get a more closely rated game. I always don't really want to believe that Justin Fields can take the Steelers team anywhere, but the numbers always prove me wrong. So that's why I don't bet with my heart, with my head. And so I'll be on the Steelers, even though I got CeeDee Lamb on my fantasy team and I'm rooting for some touchdowns.
Yeah, no doubt about that. For those guys, multiple TVs, Denver and Boston NBA preseason just tipped off from Dubai. Remember, they start 2 weeks from Tuesday. The season begins. So if you want to take your notes for the NBA, there's a matchup going on live right now if you have multiple sets, because I know that most of you guys are on the Vikings and Jet game. I'm going to be looking here as well with the Giants. Let's don't forget it's a lot of rest here for the Giants. It's also a short week for the Seahawks, right? So that's there's two angles here. To me, more of a spot play here on the Giants. The Giants 7-2 to the spread. Hey, back to the old Parcells days. Giants 7-2 to the spread on the road as an underdog of 3.5 to 9.5. So they've been pretty good in a dog role. We know the Seahawks have not been that good spot in a favorite role here. So for me, it's more of a spot situation here to come in here on the Giants side. And I'll be that guy that takes the Cowboys. If I can get 3, I like them. I just hope their corners are healthy enough to play. Healthy offense for Dallas. The key here, again, health is a big situation here in these games, as we know. It's the healthiest unit in there. 91 injury score for the Dallas offense, and they do complete their passes. We'll see how it is. Maybe it'll be short passes. We expect bad weather in Pittsburgh tonight. We don't know how Fields is going to handle bad weather, right? He's a Ohio State guy, right? So we'll see how he handles bad weather. We've not seen.
What does that mean?
Well, that's how he's going to handle the bad weather. They're going to not account for him, and he's going to go running.
He's going to run the football.
You better be spying on Fields, because he's going to have a big day.
He's going to take off.
He's going to run
because he can run. He'll just go.
No doubt. He's another one of the free. But he's a smart runner, though. Even though he's hesitant with the throw, he knows when to take off running, and you never see him get blasted. That's another thing. He knows how to run, not to get hit. And Mindy, real quick back to Seattle, I think you're 100% right on that. But remember, McDonald's the coordinator over there. Back to what I said. I was like, well, this is kind of I was on that at the beginning of the year, and the injuries took that away. Right?
Yeah.
So it'll swing back. And I think that's why they brought him in there. I mean, your analysis of them is actually spot on. Well, are they a defensive team? Since the Beast left at running back, they were a running team, right? They got them to the Super Bowl. They've had nothing. But I think they will be a defensive team. We saw that at the beginning of the year. And once they get the players back. But yeah, talk about one of the hardest teams to figure out, what they're going to do. You just bet them as a dog.
Yeah, used to Pete Carroll for so long,
No, yeah, right. And you can bet them as a dog, right? Going to San Francisco, it doesn't matter how crappy they were. He had a shot not to cover, but to win, right? So,
they always played well versus 49ers, but not versus the Rams. So it's just one of those deals. And I think that's probably how it will be looking this year.
That trying to figure out even worse. Sometimes the best coordinators make the worst head coaches. They make their first.
Well, because their mind is on the micro, on just the one side, and not being able to see that full picture.
And delegating, right? When you're the head coach, you don't, it's hard to be the head coach. You're totally responsible, but Mindy's going to call my offense. I got to tell Rod to do the defense, and Tony can, call it fake punt as special teams coach whenever he wants. that takes a certain type of personality to be a head coach. So it's tough, man. The NFL is really hard. I mean,
it's hard to win games. I mean,
I will say this: if you're a Raiders fan, you got to root for the Vikings to pound the Jets, because you know what's going to happen. The Raiders will have an opportunity to fleece the Jets for draft picks for Adams. That's all I'm saying right now. So we can definitely see that happen here. So if you're Raiders fans, you got to be rooting hard for the Vikings.
Here's my knock on my team: Steelers are just the greediest, stingiest, money grubbing team. They're so money grubbing. They pulled off getting Wilson and Fields, and they had an insider trade with Chicago. Chicago wanted to do good by Fields. They didn't trade him to anybody else, so they figured out who they were getting, and they gave the Steelers. So the league turned around and gave them the hardest schedule of all time.
There you go.
Playing all their division teams. So if there's any place that Adams should end up that needs a star receiver that would make a huge difference on their team, is Pittsburgh. That's what the one thing Pittsburgh is really missing that would help Fields out or Wilson when they come back.
Oh, yeah. But from the Raiders' perspective, I think you can fleece the Jets for draft picks because it's New York, right? They'll overspend. They'll get the worst end of it. That's because of the pressure to make a move. That's what happens in New York.
Where does he end up though? I think he ends
Could
up
be
in
New
Kansas
Orleans.
City.
Could be New Orleans.
Kansas City.
I don't know if Kansas City has enough money for him.
Yeah,
They'll find it.
they'll find it.
Maybe.
We'll see.
They'll find it.
They're going to have a home
Draft
take
picks.
that again.
You're gonna, their first round picks are gonna be 31 and 32 all the time. So again, whoever gives them the best picks is what really only comes down to.
Yeah, they're gonna ask for a lot.
They're gonna ask for a lot.
And the Jets are a desperate type of franchise competing with the Giants in a big market with Rodgers as your quarterback. There's gonna be a lot of pressure for if they lose this game, and they did not convert a fourth down, and it goes over back to the Vikings. The Jets had a nice drive going in deep into Vikings territory, turn it over on downs on the ground twice on short yardage situations. So
Rodgers
didn't have enough money for Hopkins. They're never going to get Adams.
Tell Rodgers to give some of his money to Adams, but he's not worth a dime. But they've spent on him. He might as well share it and get a receiver, help himself out.
Yeah, Rodgers not very happy with the play calling. I think he wanted to throw the football there. He was going like this. Like, hey, they were stacking. They knew what we were running. They were stacking the front. Well,
I still don't know why he just doesn't go rogue at this point in his life.
I know. Not happy with that.
You call a run, screw it.
All right.
Somebody gave him some mushrooms for breakfast, and he's like, those were the ones I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue here. Let's go to the baseball playoffs. The baseball playoffs. I'm a smiling guy today. It was a little rough first inning, but we got through it. So let's get to it. We got National League Divisional Series today in this best of 5 series. The Mets stole game 1. Again, they do it late in the game. Late in the game. We said, Wheeler, you can't go 9, you can't win. That's the way it rolls in baseball.
You should have let him again. We talked about
the day. We grew up in those days with.
He's only got like 2 more outings to go. Let him go.
We back in our day, these pitchers wouldn't even give the ball up. Carlton. I remember guys. They would get pissed. That Zambrano was the last pitcher to actually challenge Dusty, a manager, to take him out of a game. I haven't seen anyone else other than Zambrano do that. So
that's funny.
We'll go back and we'll cover here Mets Phillies. Looks like the Phillies are going to be favored this game. Let's see if there's any changes in the pitching, because these managers sometimes they throw it out there. So we got Severino and Sanchez still going. Dodgers and Padres, Darvish and Flaherty. Remember, no Musgrove. Musgrove out with that Tommy John, and they're going to push King to game 3 for the Padres. That's how we're not seeing King here. We start with Rod.
Yeah, look at this one. I'm going to go with the Phillies. I'm not a Severino fan. I'm going to take the Phillies first 5 because we know what the Mets have been doing late. So I think the Phillies can get to Severino. He's been getting rocked. He's given up 15 hits in his last 2 starts and 7 runs. So these Philly bats are not going to stay quiet for long. They have an offense, and I think the bats tee off Severino early in this game. So give me the Phillies first 5 there in that one. And look what Darvish has done since he's come back. Mr. Consistent, Mr. Mowing him down. Darvish versus Flaherty. I'll take Darvish all day in that one. I'm going to take the Padres first 5. Them Dodgers bats, you never know when Ohtani can just walk up. You never forget, he plunked himself. Like he literally, a foul tip off the back of his knee, and he was like, oh! And I thought, oh, no, he's in trouble. And he just walks right back up, stands there, and just, bam, gone. And I was like, wow. And he can do that at any given time that he's up there. He doesn't even care where they pitch it to him anymore. You want to pitch it up high, pitch it down low. He'll just wait for it and just crush it. So I think the Padres get out early, like I've seen many times, and the Dodgers come back in that one. So give me the Padres early. I like the first 5 of both. Philly first 5, Padres first 5.
All right, Aaron Jones banged up for Minnesota, the running back. So we've seen that with Green Bay. No surprise. I'm surprised he even played this long before getting hurt. We move on over to Jorge.
I'll take a slight lean to Philadelphia bouncing back, but yeah, it's kind of hard to bet against the Mets, man. I mean, they're just like last year the Diamondbacks. It just didn't matter. They got hot at the end. They had the chemistry. And this year, it's the Mets. They have the chemistry. They came down the stretch, and it doesn't matter who they throw and pitch out there. They got the chemistry going. They got Iglesias over there. He's a Spanish pop singer. That OMG, he's got his own song out. So I haven't heard it yet. I should listen to it after the show. But everybody's just buying in. Ever since he's got there, something about his personality just kind of galvanized that group. And not that he's the best player in the world, but their whole attitude has changed. And it's a mental game, man. 90%, right? And Rod, I'll disagree a little bit, and maybe I misunderstood, but Ohtani, dude. I mean, yeah, I'm a Dodger fan, and Robert's thing. he's doing it all the time now. He says he's doing it. Why he's doing it? What he did that game in Miami, that's just uncharted, man. I mean, and the only way the Dodgers are going to win this, and I don't disagree with going with Darvish. But Darvish is kind of old. He's been, he's not in his prime, Betty. But the only way the Dodgers are going to win is high scoring games.
Yeah, high scoring games.
They're not going to pitch a little bit, and he's going to carry them, and he's leading off. So it's like put your best player in your softball team to lead off. We used to do that all the time. It just sets the tone for it. So, man, I think we're just watching a reincarnation of Babe Ruth, man.
Did you see the stats? Did you see the stats? What was he? 12 of 14 with runners in scoring position in his last 10 at bats, and he's got over 2,700 slugging percentage.
Well, that was the key here. I mean, that was the thing, is that the Dodgers had something to play for this year, late in the season. They weren't just relaxing, and they were able to keep their mind on baseball. And that's the key, being laser focused, not checking out of baseball. Sometimes when these teams clinch early, they check out, right? The Dodgers had to play hard. And Ohtani had something to chase, that 50-50, that 55-55. So that kept his mind on baseball. That's important, I think, the mental approach to the game.
Now, you know what? Tony, as a Dodger fan, I think they're just making Rogers shut the F up. Really. I mean, he's always wanted to make his moves. He wants the interview after that. And as you saw towards the end, when Ohtani wanted to set his record, he's come out and said, "No, it's playoff season. I came here to win." And all of a sudden, Roberts just everybody's got to shut up. Yeah. Now the Dodgers have played with that urgency all the way to the end, and they score 7 in the first game. Yeah. Even the management, they're all about making money. That's different now. And they brought Ohtani over. He got his money in his package, but he's literally like, I came over here to win the championship. He won that world championship in Japan. He's created that attitude in that locker room, and he's doing it with his bats. I think we're watching.
It's contagious. It's contagious. That type of personality is
over, and he's trumping. He's trumping Roberts. Where in the past, he just called the shots and they went with whatever, and they'd all be lethargic coming into the playoffs. And he's just pumped some energy and a lifeline in all of them. I'm impressed. I mean, I was at a service last night, and then the reception thing was afterwards, and I was catching the score here and there, but I didn't realize they ended up going 7-5. So that's the only way they're going to win.
Down 3-0. Down 3-0, then a 3-run homer by Ohtani and change everything over to Mindy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, continuing with what Jorge said, I mean, statistically, you want your best hitter in the number 2 spot. They come up more times than not. Mm-hmm. That's why in softball, I disagree with the way that it's being played now, because you have a lot of those slappers that are up front. And again, you don't want a slapper coming up when you need to hit, someone to hit the ball. And so, I mean, I love them having Ohtani at number 1 and not number 4. You could see so many times that a number 4, he's always on the on deck circle, right? When you really need a hit. And that's just kind of the way it works out. So I love him being the leadoff. I love you, Darvish. So I like Rod's play with the first 5. But I'm going to be over in this game. I think, like you said, there is no choice but to outscore these guys. These bullpens aren't necessarily great. I think Flaherty's going to have a good outing. I mean, if you look at him, statistically, he does average over the 4.5, 5Ks. That's right about his prop. That's right there. But again, these bullpens have not been necessarily great. And I think it's the same thing here for the Mets and Phillies. I'm going to go over the total in this one. So take them both over. Mets, I mean, you look at them, 4.13 is what they've been averaging, last 5 out of that bullpen. Again, I feel like a lot of these, they have those trends going over, even though these starting pitchers, I think, are pretty decent. So I think there's a combination mixture, like Rod talks about, what Jorge talks about. That's just the way I see these playing out as well.
All right, from Mindy. All right, I'll look at it. I also agree with Mindy over in this game between the Mets and Philadelphia. Severino in his past 3 starts, 10 earned runs, and here's the problem here: 4 homers allowed, and that's the kicker there. Home run pitchers don't do well in this ballpark, especially with these swinging Phillies here. We could see some home runs here. Mets bullpen, I don't know how they're doing it, man. The past 10 games, ERA 4.5 now, and the Phillies ERA near 5. The Mets now 7-2 the over behind Severino when he's the road dog. The Mets 14-4 to the over when they're dogs at plus 125 to plus 175. And the Phillies, well, against the division, 16-10 to the over at home. Look over in that game Padres and Dodgers, again, same situation. I just took the Dodgers to outscore them. Remember, Flaherty is on a contract year. It also works in the postseason, and no better time than now when you're looking for a contract to bring out your best in the postseason. So still keep an eye on those contract guys, especially in the postseason. Flaherty was kind of a rental player, right? He was a needed. We know Kershaw's out for the playoffs with a toe injury. He's not going to pitch, whether or not that matter or not. But
that's a plus.
At this point, yes, that's a plus.
That's a plus. That's a plus.
Hey, the negative. That's a plus.
That is.
Well, I love
right?
Kershaw, but geez, the playoff time.
And getting back to that point with the high-scoring games, and I will say this here: the weather is very hot here in Southern California. It hasn't been like this.
The humidor.
It hasn't been like this since back in the pandemic year of 2020. And that, if you remember that series between the A's and Astros, they had some crazy scoring games. And we're going to see the same thing out here on the West because it's very hot here. And if you remember those Astros, remember the games were played with no fans and they were static locations. The A's and Athletics played the entire series in Dodger Stadium, and balls were going all over the place. Well, because it was very hot that summer, and we got that fall, we have the same hot summer-like weather here this fall. That's why we're going to see these balls flying out. And I think it definitely favors the Dodgers with this weather situation being so hot here in LA. And even when they go to San Diego, it's going to be hot. So I look at the advantage there with the Dodgers bats. Past 7 games, Dodgers hitting 318, the Padres 226. At home, the team behind Flaherty, a winning record over his past 5 home games, 4-1. LA against winning teams at home, and they just bring it 25-11, winning 7.5 units. Look for LA in this one. All right. We'll continue here on the Tony This Morning Show. As we get ready here for the W, we got 2 game 4s here. When we go to game 5, some of the Aces made it happen here, and we got some pretty good matchups here in the W today. We got a 3 Eastern start and a 5. No late game. It's going to go right after the other. 3 Eastern, 5 Eastern. Liberties and Aces. Looks like the Aces 3. Lynx and Suns. Looks like the Sun here 2. We start with Rod.
Yeah, and you look at these two. Yeah, check out the video archive. Me and Ron covered both of these games over at Tony's Picks. So definitely go check out those archived videos. And then I look at this one in New York at +3. I don't know. I lean to Vegas to make it a series. But I like the under. We've seen 3 straight overs now between New York and Vegas. I think this one's a little more slow paced. And we go back to what we seen in the first game in this match where it went under the total. I know we've seen 3 straight overs, but I think the defense comes to shine a little more here in this one. The under trends are too much to pass up here at 166.5. Both these teams off of 1 day's rest definitely trend to the under. So give me the under 166.5 there. And then the Lynx of the Sun, you know what? It's I've been on the Sun all season long, and I think we do see a 5th game winner take all back in Minnesota. So give me the Sun to get the job done there. Just one of those with Coach White on the bench. I think she gets her team up for this. Why's the Lynx at +2? You look at they have been playing the better hoops down the stretch, but the Suns team, don't count them out. They are solid defense. Back to that under. I know we've seen the over last game as well, but you got to go right back to that under. That was one of those spots where the over it turned into a track meet. I think we go back to what we've seen in the first few games of the series where we get the defensive battle. Suns pull it out late, but we get the under again. Take the under.
Under from Jorge. Boy, the Vikings just ran the ball up. The Jets just ran the ball on this drive, get a touchdown, 17-0 now. Vikings over the Jets. Over to Jorge. Those Aces staved off elimination. Can they do it again? Can they do it again?
All I got. It'd be fun to see a game 5, determining factor there, but no, I'll pass to Mindy.
Over to Mindy.
Well, damn, Rod, I feel like I got to go the opposite way. I'm going to still be on the over. I think it comes down to, how you see it, right? When it comes to desperation times, I feel like we're going to see more offense than defense here. I think we're going to see run and gun up and down the court. I don't think that's what this is. I feel like the Liberty feels like they need to take it now. I don't think they want to take it to a game 5. So to me, I feel like there's just too much talent here for this one to be a lower scoring defensive game. And then for the Sun, I'm going to take them again. I really hope that the Sun cannot shoot 38% again for like 3 straight games.
Oh, exactly. Right.
What it's coming down to, like, they're too good of a team to do that. And I feel like this is the time where they break that streak. So I'm going to go ahead and be on the Sun with Rod there as well.
there from Mindy. All right, I'm gonna break the tie with Mindy and Ron. I'm gonna go under in this game. A couple of reasons why. Game 5 is Tuesday, so I don't really think you really want a fast pace in this game because that long trip from Vegas to New York, and then you got to play the Tuesday game. I think in this situation, especially if you're trailing big, and if you think that the Aces can be up big in this game, and that's the only situation where we'll have a game 5 if the Aces win. If the Aces are up, I think they call off the horses. I think you'll see the Liberties sit players and rest players. We see that a lot in the NBA in that situation where we got a game 7, they rest their guy. Oh, we're going to lose this game. Get out of the bench. Let's rest. We got a game on Tuesday. We got that long flight. No party in Vegas. Although it would be nice to clinch the series.
Yeah, exactly. That
would be nice.
In Vegas,
but don't forget back on that plane and going back to New York City. That's a tough spot there to have that one-day rest and then come back Tuesday for the deciding game 5 because that's how it works in the WNBA. Friday, Sunday, Tuesday because they're a TV package with ESPN. That's pretty much dictated. They dictated the schedule. That's really how it is. So I look at the under there. I don't look for a fast pace because the Aces don't want to go fast either because they're in their heads thinking, we're going to have a game 5. We don't want to run it up and then not be fatigued by the time we get to New York because that is going to be a game 5 there. You got Spike in the crowd. You have all the celebrities come out.
The pressure would be on the Liberty.
That would be some scene there if we get to that game 5 because the Liberty has it out for now. The Liberty has a home court here in this situation. That would be some spot there if we're able to see that there. Liberty.
Kudos to Rod though. I mean, he nailed it right on the head. He said the only way that the Aces were going to beat the Liberty was to score more points because they'd been battling out on defense that they were going to have to push the pace, and maybe that's the ticket, right? They push the pace. Maybe the Liberty may not be able to adjust. Maybe they can outrun them right now. So it'll be who can control the pace of the game.
Now we'll see how that rolls. Pace is a big part of it too, and margin here. If the Aces are up big, we may see them call off the horses late. And again, like I said, it's a quick turnaround here for game 5 for both teams here, as that's how the schedule works out in the W. All right, we got you through the games here, and now we'll ask the cappers if time for our parlay peripheral segment. They can give out a parlay, a peripheral, a player prop. They make the calls. We got NBA preseason, NHL preseason out there. Rod, we'll start with you. No NHL preseason until tomorrow.
No NHL preseason today, right? They took the day off. Oh, actually, no. I think there might be some preseason today. I think maybe 1 or 2, but I didn't really look.
I didn't see any today because I thought I might cover them today.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Thank goodness. No, no preseason today.
1 tomorrow.
So for me, this parlay peripheral, we're gonna go with the a 3-team anytime touchdown scorer parlay here in the NFL. We're gonna go with Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. We're gonna go with Fields anytime touchdown. And we're gonna go with Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. Parlay those 3 up today.
All right, I got it. I wrote it down. We're in.
There you go. From Rod on over to Jorge.
I'll take a 2-teamer, just money line straight up to win. I will take Denver on the money line and parlay that. I won't jinx my own team. And I'll jinx Rod's team instead. I'll take the Dolphins.
Take the Dolphins.
Teresa O'Brien
That's
looks like
not very nice.
That looks like a homer parlay with all the New York teams today in action across all the boards here. We move on over to Mindy.
At least it wasn't my homer parlay on the day. That's all I know.
We just did New York in the World Series. This is very possible.
Right.
Yeah, Subway Series again.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Very possible. Yeah, very possible.
All righty. I'm going to go some player props here. I'll take Kyle Schwarber with a hit in that one. And then I'll do Teoscar Hernandez with a hit and about 3 strikeouts. And then I'll take with Rod, I'll take Derrick Henry anytime touchdown today. You can put them all together, play them separately, however you wish.
He's also going to hit a home run on that hit that you say. He might strike out 6 times, and then Teoscar is going to hit a home run today.
Yeah, I mean, he's feast or famine. I like it.
He is, yeah. He's feast or famine. And usually when he feasts, he's hitting a home run. It's usually going long. He's not I don't see him hitting a whole lot of triples.
Right.
So, not too many there. I'll look here. Raiders, Broncos under, the Cardinals plus, the Packers minus the points there with my 3-team parlay. All right, let's take a look at what the Cappers have for sale over at Tony's Picks. Heading into a big Sunday of action here. NFL, the W in action, Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll keep an eye here on Rod, who's having a great college football year for the year. Rod, what do you have for sale over at Tony's Picks?
And over at Tony's Picks today, I've got, what have we got, 7 NFL here. Just check and see what I got. 3, 6, 9, 10 NFL, and no MLB yet. Probably have an MLB. I've got one WNBA. I've got an early 5-pack in the NFL, so definitely scoop that up. I'll have probably a later 3-pack going for the afternoon games in the NFL today. So instead of trying to buy all these packages singly, definitely jump aboard something long term. Big week ahead. Hockey's back, so we'll have NHL. We still got NFL tomorrow, Monday. We got loaded action today in the NFL. So jump aboard. Let's have a big winning day today in the NFL. Love it. Off to a nice start with the Vikings. So keep going, Vikings. Don't let the Jets back into that one.
Yeah, they're getting the ball back. Aaron Rodgers took a sack, a blind hit here. So they're getting the ball in the final 2 minutes here. They have the ball in the final 2 minutes here, looking to get some more on the board. So we'll have the ball here to close out the half. Let's go on over to Jorge. We'll see what Jorge has for sale over at Tony's Picks. He has a fantastic year this year for Jorge. Look at this. Already eclipsed 2,000 units of profit here. Not even a month on the site. And you know, Jorge, Vegas-wise, he's been around town. He knows his stuff. We have going over at Tony's Picks.
Great, thanks, Tony. It's been over. It's been over a month. I've been it'll be close to 2 months.
Really?
Coming up.
God, boy, time flies.
No, it does. No, it does. But it's a lot of rust, man. I mean, it's the new technology and how you guys promote and all that. I'm still a little bit behind, but I'm glad you have the live show so I can come out and participate in this. But I'm going to have at least a 3-pack today, and then my late steam, especially with the NFL, is just kind of my handicapping style. I picked up a customer or two that jumping on the late steam games, and the more information I process, kind of that subconscious mind thing, man. I take my mind off it for a second and read something else and come back to my picks. And for some reason it's working out for me. So I'm just having a blast. I'll have my 10-star pick, best pick of the day here very shortly. As soon as we're jumping off the show here, I was just polishing it up. And then I'll have a 3-pack for the rest of the day. And if I see something I like, I will definitely play it all the way up to 15 minutes before tip-off.
Yeah, from Jorge, get on board with Jorge there on those long-term packages. Get that late steam plays. Take a look at Mindy, who's having a great year here in the NFL. A good profit for this year. What do you have going over at the site?
Yeah, well, mostly NFL today, of course. Got a 3-pack here starting at noon Central, 1 p.m. there Eastern. So make sure you go ahead and pick that up. Also am in on WNBA and Major League Baseball. So you can also pick up a 3-pack there with 2 MLB and 1 WNBA. They are there and waiting for you. Of course, always use the promo code TonyT at checkout.
That's right, Tony. Hit checkout, save 15% off all packages over at Tony'sPicks.com over on the side. I got a 3-pack up there right now. Also, best bet from the NFL. And no better time to get on board. Having a pretty good NFL season this year. Click the links below for our site, Tony'sPicks.com. Get signed up. And remember the promo code TonyT at checkout will save that 15% off. Multi-capper promotions available there as well. And, of course, we talked about the long-term passes include all the late steam releases from our cappers. We do allow our cappers to post plays late between 10 minutes and 2 hours before start time. Those plays are emailed directly to the email that you use when you sign up for the service. So remember that. And also the one-day packages are profit guaranteed. They must turn a profit. The amount you purchase is credited back to your account for side credits. That's profit guaranteed. And that's how that rolls there. So get on board there here at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. Back tomorrow again at 9:30 Eastern time. Make sure you have a winning day. Before we go, any closing thoughts from anybody?
I'm glad that Vanderbilt got the win at home so they could celebrate properly. I love
Pavia. That guy's, we saw that. He did the impossible and made New Mexico State a winning team. Got him to a bowl game.
I have an early pick for next week. Bet against Vanderbilt. They're going to be partying all week. They're still partying from last night, and they're going to be hungover when they play their next game.
That is the truth. That is the truth. There. Any closing, Rod?
For me, I'm looking. Hockey's on the horizon, and I don't think it's these guys that are going to come out of the West here. Wow. No, I don't think so. They got way too much issues on the back end defensively. They're going to have to try to outscore teams, and that never fares so well when you're trying to outscore teams. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe some of these young defensive pieces they have can actually step up, but some of them are pretty old in age. We're looking at a 30-year-old Stetcher trying to make the team on defense for this Oilers team. The guy's a career minus 21. Yikes! And all of a sudden you expect this is the year he turns 31. All of a sudden he's going to be amazing. He's going to be a top 6 team for the Oilers. No chance. Give it the Dallas Stars to come out of the West.
Wow, there you go.
There's a team that you look, the last 2 seasons, they've been right there on the cusp of making the finals. They got beat by the Oilers, just a little better team. But you got to look, you had Pavelski in that team last season, and Pavelski was dragging down that Dallas team because he was old, and he kept figuring he was top 6, and he was not a top 6. He should have been down in the 4th line. He should have been on the power play. Wyatt Johnston should have been up on the power play. Wyatt Johnston should have been up on the top 6 because he is a way better player than Pavelski. And guess what? He's now on that line with Robertson, Wyatt Johnson on the left. Watch out for the Dallas Stars. Audrey's going to have a little something to say too. He didn't have the greatest season. He had some injuries he dealt with. Watch out for the Dallas Stars in the West.
There you go. From Rod as NHL starts the North American openers Tuesday. We're going to swing here, covering here as well in the morning show. That's going to do it. We'll be goodbye, guys. You guys make it a winning Sunday. We're back tomorrow here on the Tony's Picks Morning Show.